we doing today, chat? How we doing? We got a fun-packed episode. We're gonna be talking about a lot, breaking down some play from each and every team. We are going to start with the best performances of the week, honestly. So, as you know, NFL Week 4 did not disappoint. We had some crazy performances from each and every single team. We got some final answers to some specific teams as well. You know, the Ravens defense, will they be able to hold up? The Browns, they looking more sorry than ever. So, we're going to get into it. Topic 1 today. Best performances. So we're going to start with the quarterback position. We got three contenders. Matthew Stafford, out the gate, 29 for 41, 3 touchdowns, 375 yards against the undefeated Colts. They definitely put on a show. Not looking too bad this weekend. 375 yards on 29 passing attempts is actually kind of crazy. As you can see here, he was averaging almost 13 yards per per pass, and that's absolutely insane. And for him to do it against the Indianapolis Colts was definitely a good showing. 27-20, the Rams squeeze it out. Both these teams look good contenders to make a late run in the Super Bowl. So that's definitely a great start from Matthew Stafford. Next up, we got Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was 25 for 37, 4 touchdowns, and he actually was doing Pat Mahomes things, as we all know that he can do. Right? He hadn't had a 4 touchdown game in a very long time. I believe he hadn't had a 4 touchdown game since, I want to say, 2023 or something like that. So definitely a good performance against him. QBR 73, completion rate 67%, 270 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. And we all know who it was against. It was against that Ravens defense. Who has not been looking too hot all year. But we'll get to that at the end of the show when we talk about how the Ravens defense looked and if they're actually going to be contenders. And then lastly, for the quarterback position, we had Jordan Love, 31 for 43, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. This is up there for a top performance, but as we know, he did play Dallas this weekend, and the game was 40-40. The game ended up 40-40. Oh, back to it. Jordan Love, he had an exceptional weekend, 31 for 43, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns. But as we know, Jordan Love did play the worst defense in the league. Dallas, yes, they are number 1 for yards per game, but guess what? Their defense is number 1 for yards allowed per game. So if you're playing the Dallas Cowboys, just know you are going to get a crazy amount of yards. Let's see how many yards the Packers had this weekend against the Dallas. They had almost 500 yards of offense against Dallas. Like, that's absolutely insane. They are the worst ranked defense in the league, and Dallas, it really shows. They're 1-2 right now with a tie. They did kind of spoil Michael Parsons' return to Jerry World, but for it to end in a tie, we all know Jerry's happy. It is what it is. But looking at the rest of the NFL, we're gonna look at the top receivers from Sunday. We had DK Metcalf, 5 catches for 126 yards against the Vikings. 5 catches for 126 yards. This will be capped out by one of the top plays for the week. He had a 70-yard catch in Dublin, Ireland. That game really did put on a show. If I'm not mistaken, the final score of that game was 24-21 against the Vikings and Minnesota. Yep, 24-21. Looks like Pittsburgh came out on top. Another receiver that had a pretty good time this weekend was Puka Nacua. He had 13 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown. And that was Matthew Stafford's main target going into this week was Puka Nacua with 13 catches. He had 30 13 of Matthew Stafford's 29 catches. So that's really a great start for the Rams. I know that they were looking forward to this game. Going into that game, the Colts were, I believe, 3-0. So that really answers some of the questions. And for the Rams to get that win, I believe the only time the Rams lost was the first game of the season. Oh, no, it was last week to the Eagles. As we know, the Eagles just came off the Super Bowl win. So, Kiki, man, my team 3-1. Who's your team? Who's your team? Let's talk about it. Hey, this is what we're here to talk about. Let's debate. I know my team is 1-3 right now. We are the Cleveland Browns, and we can't stop a runny nose if we had Kleenex. Oh, your team is San Fran. Oh, hey, let's talk about it. Your team, what? San Francisco. They just got their first loss on Sunday. Who did they lose to? They lost to the Chargers, maybe. No, they lost to the Jaguars. Hey, the Jaguars are looking serious this year. The Jaguars are looking serious this year. They have a very legit defense. So, San Fran really did get battle tested this weekend. Yep, that's a reasonable loss. If you didn't know, the Jaguars had 4 turnovers against you guys, and they have 12 for the season right now. So they are leading the league in the turnover battle. Sunday, we saw them throw and run the ball effectively. So we have high hopes for the Jaguars this season. So that was definitely a battle test against San Francisco. No, like, if you lose to the Browns, you are the definition of the worst team in the league. Considering the Browns can't move the ball. Like, they can't move the ball in no way, shape, or form. So if any team loses to the Browns, you're immediately out of Super Bowl contention, right? Like, yes, the Packers, they're great, they're this, they're that, and the other, but when they lost to the Browns, who can't figure out how to move the ball, that really just says something about their whole team, right? Like, the only win the Browns have this year is against the Packers. And the only reason the Browns won that game is because we got an interception and we put the offense on the 2-yard line. If the interception doesn't happen and we don't put them on the 2-yard line, we don't win that game. So Green Bay had no excuse to lose that game. No excuse. They had every opportunity to take that win from the Browns. But we'll get into the Browns later on. And I can rant for days about the Cleveland Browns. Another top performer of this week, Omarion Hampton, 12 carries for 128 yards with a touchdown. That was against the Giants, and no, the Giants don't look like to be contenders this year, but they're really starting to get it out. You know what I mean? They got their quarterback Jackson Dart. You know what I mean? He's making plays. He's making the throws that he needs to. That might save the head coach of the Giants' job, considering what he did with Danny Dimes. Browns will win a Super Bowl in 2048. Trust. Ah, man, stop it. Don't even get my hopes up, man. Every single year we talk about, the Browns are contenders. They're going to win a playoff game. We're going to go to the Super Bowl. Never happens. Never happens. As we know, the last time the Browns won a playoff game before we beat the Steelers with Baker Mayfield, I can't even remember. Last 3 Browns playoff wins. Let's see. It's really been since 2021? No way. Oh, no, that can't be. It's been that long since Baker, the touchdown maker, was on the Browns. Wow. We have one playoff win between September 30th, 2010 and September 30th, 2015. That's insane. Like, I can't believe it's been 2021 since the Browns won a playoff game with Baker, the touchdown maker. Baker on Tampa is looking absolutely insane. Let's look at his season stats this year, because this man, Baker, is 3-0 right now, and he lost to the reigning Super Bowl champion. So let's see. Completion percentage, 55% completion percentage, 289 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. 904 in yards, 8 in touchdowns, 1 interception, 60 QBR. Like, he has looked viable every single year. Baker looks viable every single year, and I just fail to understand how the Browns didn't see the vision. Right? He got us our first playoff win, and God knows how long, and it was against the Steelers. It was against the Steelers. Like, how do we trade away the best quarterback we had per se, because no other quarterback had even won us a playoff game? Switching gears back to another top performer from this weekend, we had Jordan Brooks from Miami. This man had 18 tackles. 18 tackles. He is one of the main reasons Miami got their first win of the season. If he doesn't have 18 tackles, mind you, he also had 15 solo. So it wasn't like these are group tackles. This man had 15 solo tackles. So he has 28 tackles in 2025. 18 came from the game against the Jets. He is tied for first in 28 solo tackles. 15 solo tackles came against the Jets, and he's tied for first right now. So he definitely did some damage. Yup. Tyreek Hill broke his leg. I mean, it wasn't like Miami had a chance anyway, though. Miami was not looking good even when Tyreek was healthy. Yeah, Tyreek Hill, he should have never left Kansas City. The grass is not always greener on the other side. I think Tyreek had a better chance staying with the Chiefs than he did going to Miami and going to the Sunshine City. Team offense here. Let's see who had the best offensive performance this weekend. I believe it's between two different teams. It's going to be between the Patriots with 42 points, 16 first downs, and 307 yards. And it's going to be between the other team is going to be the Falcons, 34 points, 24 first downs, and 435 yards. It looks like the Patriots played the Panthers. The Panthers not really a viable team, so that's definitely up in the air. And then the Falcons played the Commanders. So I would say the best offensive performance for team-wise, it would definitely be the Falcons. For them to put up 34 against the Atlanta Falcons, 10 in the first and then 14 in the third, with almost 500 yards, that's actually a great showing. Looks like they were 6 for 12 on third down. So that's actually the Falcons might be a sneaky pick. At the Falcons, best offensive performance right now at 34 points. Team defenses, right? We had some very bad offenses this week, but let's highlight what the Giants offense did to the Chargers this week, right? We had Giants, they held the Chargers to the lowest points this season. Herbert averages 286 yards prior to Sunday's game, and he got held to 200 yards, so way below his average. He had 2 interceptions against the Giants when previously before this game he only had 1 interception in 3 different games. Herbert's completion percentage this year averaging before Sunday was 68%. He finished Sunday with a 56% completion percentage. So shout out to the Giants for making it tough on Justin Herbert. Do you watch college football? Let's shift gears to kind of the craziness of the college football scene of this past week. So we know the AP poll, they came out at the start of this weekend. It's looking like Ohio State at number 1, Oregon at number 2 after they beat Penn State. They jumped up 9 spots by beating Penn State. As we know, the quarterback for Penn State threw a interception in overtime right after Oregon had just charged down the field and got a touchdown. We got Miami at number 3. They're coming off a bye week. Ole Miss beat LSU, and Ole Miss is now ranked number 4. They jumped up from the 13th spot. And lastly, we got Oklahoma. And then another notable one, Alabama jumping up to number 10 by beating ranked 5 Georgia. And the Alabama-Georgia game was actually insane. I believe Alabama had 24 by the end of by halftime, and they just never looked back. You know, Georgia doing Georgia things, selling the game. They had an open touchdown that they could have. It would have been a walk-up touchdown. The receiver ended up dropping the ball, so that was huge. Kirby Smart, he instead of going for a field goal to tie the game on 4th down, he goes for it. And why did he go for it on that fourth down? Because Alabama would not score again. So if Kirby Smart goes for the field goal there, they go into overtime. And who knows? Who knows who wins that game, right? We had a couple upsets in football this weekend. Virginia beat Florida State 46-38. The quarterback for Virginia, 26 for 35, two touchdowns, 229 yards. Oregon beat Penn State at home 30-24. Now let's talk about the coach of Penn State, right? Penn State head coach James Franklin is now 1-18 against top 5 ranked opponents. 1-18 against top 5 ranked opponents. Why is that? Why does that man still have a job? Right? Your main goal in a program like Penn State is to beat top 5 opponents and win playoff games. That is your only goal, right? Every college is going to blow out unranked teams, right? Ohio State, they're going to hang 60 on Kent State. Texas, they're going to hang 60 on Wichita State, right? Your goal as a program like Penn State, Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, LSU, your goal is to be in the contending for top 5 every single year. And this man is 1-18 against top 5 opponents. That's absolutely insane to me. Drew Aller, he struggled this past weekend. 14 for 25, 2 tutties, and interception, but he only had 137 yards, right? Like, if you're a top contending quarterback at a university like Penn State, you're potentially the number one. Like, the LSU struggled with only having 250 yards compared to Ole Miss's 484 yards. They had 21 rushing attempts with only 60 yards. They were averaging 2 yards per carry. How do you average 2 yards per carry at the college level? They're putting up video game numbers in the college level nowadays, and to have less than 3 yards a carry, the LSU offense sounds like they should have lost 107-0. Because what's his name? Chambliss, the quarterback for Ole Miss, he's having a Heisman Trophy kind of season. He's got 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns, a QBR of 87, which is 5th right now. That's not bad at all. LSU really struggled. You know who didn't struggle? Ty Simpson, the quarterback for Alabama. 24 for 38, 276 yards, 2 touchdowns. Georgia dropped a game-winning touchdown and went for a touchdown on 4th down. We talked about that earlier, and they really could have tied the game. And just like I was talking about the head coach James Franklin, Kirby Smart, you are the coach of Georgia, right? Your only job as Georgia is to win at least 2 or 3 playoff games and to beat Alabama. Kirby Smart is now 1-6 against Alabama. Like 1-6. That is like for every college program, there's a game you circle and say, this game right here is the most important game of the season. Right? You got Miami and Florida State. You got Ohio State and Michigan. You got these big rivalries, and it's just Kirby Smart can never get it done against Alabama. And funny story, the last 7 meetings between Alabama and Georgia, 3 of them were in the SEC championship and 2 of them were in the national championship, if I'm not mistaken. So he's losing not only is he losing in the regular season, he's losing big-time games against Alabama. That is not a recipe for success, right? If you're a top contending program, just like James Franklin, he's 1-18 against top 5 opponents. Kirby Smart, you're 1-6 against the most important game of the year, right? Everybody was asking for Ryan Day's job because this man could not beat Michigan to save his life. The only thing that saved Ryan Day is he got a national championship. What is Ryan Day's record against Michigan right now? Ryan Day is 1-4 against Michigan. Before he won that national championship, everybody's like, how does this man still have a job? Because he cannot beat Michigan. Let's ask chat. Who do you think had the most impressive win from the NFL this week on Sunday? My opinion, I think the Jaguars, like, I know that you're a 49ers fan, but I think the Jaguars had the most impressive win against the 49ers, right? Because before this week, the Jaguars had a lot of questions surrounding their team, right? We know that the 49ers are certified. We didn't know going into the season what the Jaguars were going to do, right? Were they going to go 500, right? Were they going to go this? Were they going to go that, right? We had Travis 19 rushes, 124 yards. They forced 4 turnovers, 2 INTs, 2 fumbles, right? They held Christian McCaffrey to under 50 rushing yards. Like, the Jaguars ran for 151 yards, right? Almost 5 yards per carry. That is some really good offense going against a really good defense. Let's talk about some power rankings. Let's talk about some power rankings. Going to NFL next week, we got Eagles. They are still 4-0, and they have beat some sustainable teams, right? Yes, they have struggled, but they've beat the Buccaneers, who are shown to be battle tested. They beat the Rams, and yes, they beat the Chiefs, but like, at the end of the day, the Chiefs may be 1-3, 2-2, but at the end of the day, the Chiefs will always be the Chiefs. You ever get a win against Patrick Mahomes, that is still viable, because if you ever have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, you are Super Bowl contenders, no doubt about it, no doubt about it. We got the Bills, the Lions. They look like a very good team this year. As we know, the Lions have been good the past 3 to 4 years, but the Lions look super good this year. They're averaging 35 points a game, with their opponents only averaging 22. The Browns, they only had 13 points this year. Mind you, the Browns haven't scored more than 17 points, so that's nothing new. They hold opponents to less than 40% on third downs, and then less than 40% on fourth downs too. So the Lions defense is looking a lot better this year. Aiden Hutchinson, as we know, he's back, so he's going to be a viable contender. And then lastly, we have the Los Angeles Rams. The biggest room for the Rams is their third down conversion, right? On third downs, the Rams are 19 for 47 right now. That's only 40%. Against the Eagles, they were 3-10, and against the Colts, they were 4-2. So they have been really struggling on third downs. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. The Baton Man, nice seeing you. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you tap into the YouTube video. I'm gonna edit all of this up and get that video out going tomorrow. So appreciate you guys. Much fun. Stay tuned. We're gonna be doing streams like this going forward all the time. Cannot wait for the NBA season to start. I'm gonna do a series where we go over the best defensive teams in the past 10 years, the best offensive teams in the past years. I've already done my research. You know, Steve Nash ranked high up there on best offensive minded people. We're gonna be rewatching the finals from each and every single season. We're going to be ranking the best finals runs from, the Cavaliers in 2016 with LeBron James to 2018 Miami Heat LeBron James. Like, statistically, that was the best playoff run any person has ever gone on. We're going to get into the Jordan